This statement was made by the KNPB commemorating the New York Agreement, which occurred on August 15, 1962. We reject the 1962 New York Agreement, which was made unilaterally without involving the Papuan people and which betrayed our right to be independent, said Hizki Amiyaj, chair of the KNPB Indonesian Consulate on August 15, 2024. Therefore, the KNPB stated the position that 1. His party rejects the results of the 1969 PEP era, which was implemented through manipulation, intimidation, and violence. The PEP era process, involving only 1,026 people out of around 809,337 Papuans and under threat of weapons, does not reflect the principle of one man, one vote, regulated in international law. 2. KNPB asks Indonesia to respect the rights of the Papuan people as a nation to determine their own future. The right to self-determination is a universally recognized fundamental right, and Indonesia is obliged to respect and implement it fully. 3. KNPB demands that Indonesia immediately hold a fair and democratic referendum for the Papuan people, in accordance with the principles of international law, including UN Charter Article 1, 2, and UN General Assembly Resolution 1514, 15 of 1960 concerning the right to self-determination. 4. Reject the racist views used by Indonesia to justify colonization in West Papua, which considers the Papuan people to be primitive and backward. This view is a form of discrimination that suppresses the national rights and sovereignty of the Papuan people. 5. Reject the presence and intervention of the Indonesian military in Papua, which has caused oppression, violence, and human rights violations against the Papuan people. 6. Demand an end to all forms of military operations, exploitation, and oppression of the Papuan people, and respect the struggle of the Papuan people for self-determination in accordance with the principles of international law. 7. Urge the UN to immediately review the 1962 New York Agreement and the 1969 Act, which are legally flawed and do not meet international standards. This process not only violates UN Charter Article 1-2, which affirms the right of all nations to determine their own destiny, but also contradicts UN General Assembly Resolution 1514, 15 of 1960 concerning the Declaration on the Granting of Independence to Colonial Countries and Peoples. 8. Demand that the UN recognize the right of the Papuan people to hold a truly democratic self-determination referendum, free from military pressure and intimidation, in accordance with the principle of one man, one vote as regulated in UN General Assembly Resolution 1541, 15 in 1960. 9. We ask the Indonesian people to realize and acknowledge the historical truth regarding the colonialism and oppression that has taken place in West Papua. KNPB invites you to respect the human rights of the Papuan people and demands that you be aware of the impact of this action and support respect for the rights of the Papuan people. 10. KNPB hopes that you will support efforts to reach a peaceful solution that respects the right to self-determination of the Papuan people without intimidation or violence. KNPB demands that you stop all forms of oppression based on racism and violence against the Papuan people. KNPB asks for your support for holding a fair and democratic referendum in West Papua, which honestly reflects the will of the indigenous Papuan people, and encouraging you to be part of the solution and not part of the problem. 11. KNPB Indonesian Consulate asks for support from all Indonesian people, student organizations, humanitarian care organizations, human rights defenders, activists, NGOs, from Aceh to Amboina to support the Papuan people's struggle, because seeing the situation and conditions that are currently happening in Papua, there are many victims, both native Papuans and non-Papuans are falling. So to end this, the solution is to give freedom to the Papuan people.